Is your firearm rail-equipped? Then you're ready for the Railmaster from Crimson Trace. Easy to install to almost any pistol with a rail, all with the same quality and confidence you expect from Crimson Trace. CrimsonTrace.com. Confidence you can see.
I'm a gun owner.
Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk.
I don't think that guns are scary things.
Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
All right, we're back with you. Tom Gresham, 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. You can shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. We have a Twitter conversation going on at GunTalk over on Twitter. A lot of things going on. We are giving away stuff, as we like to do around here. If you haven't entered yet, go over to guntalk.com/win, W-I-N, and enter for a chance to win actually, we're going to give away 2 grand prize winners this month. Cool. From Console Vault. Basically, anything they make, anything on their website, consolevault.com. These are these great safes that are built into the console of your truck or SUV. They also have some really neat wall safes that look like a fuse panel or a display like a time and temperature display. It's just really slick. If you go to consolevault.com, you can take a look at it. And we're going to be giving away 2 grand prizes. Each of them gets to pick whatever he or she would like from Console Vault. Go to guntalk.com/win. You heard me talking just a little bit ago about how much I like museums in general, and I do. And I love gun museums in particular. And one museum I just love because it has a lot of the things that I care about. That's the Buffalo Bill Historical Center in Cody, Wyoming. 5 museums under one roof, Western Art, Firearms, Buffalo Bill, Plains Indian, Draper Museum of Natural History. A lot of things going on out there. And in fact, I'm going to be out there in a couple of weeks, going to be doing some video for the various TV shows we do. But it is a real pleasure right now to bring into Gun Talk, really her first time here. Ashley Lynn is the assistant curator of the Cody Firearms Museum. Hey, Ashley, how are you?
I'm doing great, Tom. How are you?
Well, I am good. Thank you so much for joining us. You're out there.
Oh, no problem.
You're in the middle of, like I say, one of my favorite places. Now, I gather, looking at the website, you actually go back and forth, I don't know if you're still doing it, from the Smithsonian and the Cody Museum.
Yes, I used to do that while I was in grad school in Delaware. I worked back and forth for about 3 years. Mm-hmm. I got my master's degree last May, and Cody offered me a full-time job, so I moved from the city to Cody, Wyoming.
Well, wonderful. Now, obviously, and I've said this many times in the past, if the Cody Museum, if the Buffalo Bill Historical Center was dropped into New York, Philadelphia, Boston, you would have a 10x increase in visitors. At Cody, it's just kind of hard to get to.
It is hard to get to, but one of the nice things is that, well, one, we have a huge fan base with gun collectors, but also a sneaky way is that to get to the East Gate of Yellowstone, you have to drive right by our museum, so that helps too.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned gun collectors. One of the services you offer is letters. You might just describe what that's about.
Sure. That's our Firearms Records Office. And in the 1930s, when the Olin Corporation purchased the Winchester collection, they actually ended up, by 1975, loaning it to us. And that included the factory letters for Winchester, Marlin, and L.C. Smith. They gifted us that entire collection in 1991. And so we do provide that for a fee. We provide a service. And that's actually done through our records, which is a little bit different than the Firearms Museum, but they do a great job. And we help a lot of people out getting those letters.
So if somebody had an old firearm and it was one of the ones that they're set up to do, they could actually get a letter that authenticates this firearm and when it was made, et cetera, that kind of a thing.
Correct, yes.
Okay. All
usually just provide the serial number to our records office with the model, and they can pretty much do the work from there.
All right, super. Now, you told me this week that you started, I don't know how long ago you did, but you're doing blogging, which is a really cool thing. You got to tell people what you're doing and what you're writing about.
Okay, so our entire center, the Buffalo Bill Center of the West, like you discussed, has several museums, and so we're just one part of that. But the Firearms Museum specifically has made a social media kind of pitch because we're trying to do a couple of things. The collection itself, we have more than 7,000 firearms and over 15,000 firearms-related artifacts. And about 4,000 of those are actually on display. So one of the reasons we're doing blogs and also Twitter and Facebook is so that we can kind of bring the stories of those guns to life. When you're displaying that quantity of firearms, sometimes it's hard to bring out individual stories of the manufacturers or the people who own the firearms. And so we're using the blogging as a way to talk about those things. And we want to specifically talk, we call it the other end of the gun, which is the person who owned the gun. And so anything interesting related to our firearms we like to talk about. The other reason we're doing the blogging is to kind of show people what it is that we do. We get a lot of donations in, and so I'm kind of trying to show people what the process is when we accept a firearm and all the people that are involved in getting it on display. And then the final reason is we are actually reinstalling the entire museum in the next couple of years, and we thought social media is a perfect way to get visitor input on what we're doing.
So how do people read it? Where do they go to read what you're writing?
Well, you can go to the blog, and that's on our website, and that's centerofthewest.org. And then you can click on the main page. It'll say that you can click on the blogs, and our blog is called Unloading the Myth. And then the Facebook page is just facebook.com/Cody Firearms Museum, and our Twitter page is just @Cody Firearms.
Okay, very good. So give people, I know you run into people all the time, and they say, where do you work? What do you do? When you got to explain the Cody Firearms Museum to somebody who's never heard of it, how do you do that?
Oh, I do that all the time.
Okay, so what do you tell them?
The first thing I say is that it's awesome. I don't think people really realize, being out in Wyoming, that the collection is as vast as it is. And so, like I said, 7,000 firearms, and I usually go into talking about the fact that we don't just have guns of the Old West. Granted, we have a large collection of Hawken rifles, favorite of the mountain men, and sharps, and the volcanic pistols, which were the grandfather of the lever actions, and Colts. But we also have military history. We have firearms from every major conflict that the United States has been involved in. And then we also have a large display of firearms by a manufacturer. And the one thing that I like to stress with people is that you don't have to necessarily know a lot about guns to come here. You also don't necessarily even really have to like them. But what we strive for is to contextualize firearms in American history so that everyone can understand why they're so important to our history and why they were important to Western migration in the late 19th century.
It's interesting you say that, because I've always said one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is that gun collectors are historians, and the gun is simply the fulcrum or the center point for discussing what was going on at the time around the gun, what it was involved in, whether it was a war, the westward expansion, the American West, or whatever it was. And it's really not the story about guns, it's the story about people, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's something that we're really trying to bring out with our social media in that. We have kind of two different setups in the museum. We have the main gallery, which is for people, both kinds of people, gun collectors and non-gun collectors, to see the story and the people and how even the patent process and the inventors and how they had to go through different stages to develop the firearms that we have. And then for people who are a little bit more engineering focused, they want to see the slight alterations in a specific model, we actually have a study gallery. So we try to hit both of those main types of interests for people.
Do you have people who are researching guns or history come out? Because I know you have more guns than are on display. You got them down in the vault or the basement or someplace. This is going to be a good place for researchers. Right now. That's where you are. Okay, so you got to have people come out when they're doing research.
We do. Actually, I was about 4 years ago, I was one of the first people that came out for the Buffalo Bill Resident Fellow that had in a while studied firearms, since we have the other art and Indians and natural history as our disciplines in the other museums. But we also have a Kinnick and Arms Chair Fellowship, and we had someone a couple of years ago come and talk about firearms and Indians. So we do get people that come out, and they come mostly to our archives, and that's at the McCracken Research Library, which is on site, and that's where we house patent drawings. We have all the different magazines from different firearms manufacturers since they were started, old Abercrombie and Fitch catalogs, the actual firearms ones, not the current Abercrombie and Fitch. But,
Right.
And so they can kind of get the object, and then they get all the paperwork that comes with it. So it's really a great resource for people.
It is fabulous. If people want to know more about the museum, is probably the website's the best way to go, don't you think?
The website is a really great way to go. When you go to the Buffalo Bills Center of the West website, you can click on Explore and click on our museum. And then we also have the contact information for myself, our curator, Warren Newman, and our curatorial assistant, Dan Brumley, who is our savior, who pretty much answers most of the visitor inquiries, and he does a phenomenal job with that.
Ashley, listen, thank you so much. I cannot wait to get out there, and then we'll talk guns. You can show some of them off for TV, and we'll have a bunch of fun.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much. The Cody Firearms Museum, trust me on this one, centerofthewest.org, centerofthewest.org. It is phenomenal. I would plan a whole trip around just going to that place. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. We are open lines. Give me a shout.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to SpringfieldArmory.com. That's SpringfieldArmory.com.
Successful hunters know big bucks move early and late, often when it's too dark for common scopes. When that monster steps out, you might see him through the scope, but the crosshairs disappear. All that work and you can't take the shot. But with the Trijicon AccuPoint scope, you'll get the shot. Its bright aiming point glows in daylight or darkness. No batteries needed. AccuPoint scopes are water resistant and nitrogen filled, feature multi-layer coated lenses for the brightest image, and you can adjust brightness of the aiming point to match the conditions. Adding 10 or 15 minutes to each end of the day can double the magic moments when the trophies move. You can't hit the target if you can't see the sights. Trijicon AccuPoint scopes. Check out the different models at Trijicon.com or call 1-800-338-0563. Brilliant aiming solutions from Trijicon.
Hi, I'm Tom Gresham. For more than 40 years, I've been watching an environmental disaster in my backyard, and it actually impacts all sportsmen in America. I'm talking about the massive loss of land on the Louisiana coastline. The U.S. Geological Survey said the swamps and marshes of coastal Louisiana are among the nation's most fragile and valuable wetlands. That land is disappearing. The Mississippi River Delta hosts as many as 10 million ducks and geese every winter. These are birds which migrate northward through the states, all the way to Canada. The wetlands of the Delta support some of America's best fresh and saltwater fishing. And here's the deal. The wetlands of the Mississippi River Delta are disappearing at a rate of 1 football field every hour. 1 football field every hour. Gone. We can reconnect the river with its wetlands and restore the Delta, but we need your help. Please visit vanishingparadise.org. That's vanishingparadise.org.
You bet your life on your defense ammo. Get the proven performance of Nosler bullets in the new Nosler Defense Ammunition, featuring the same technology as the famous AccuBond line. Polymer tipper hollow point, bonded performance handgun bullets for weight retention and barrier penetration. Available only in Nosler Defense Ammunition in 9mm, 40, and 45 caliber. Also available in 223 with a 64 grain bullet. Visit Nosler.com.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
Interesting, we had a caller earlier asking him, he had a 300 blackout, a rifle, champion from 300 blackout. And he also had I think he had the Ruger Scout rifle, the gun sight Scout rifle in 308. Comparing the MSR, modern sporting rifle, the semi-automatic, and the bolt action. And then I just got an email from somebody that says, everybody's talking about MSRs, AR-15s, if you will, and they're kind of not talking about bolt actions anymore. It's an interesting comment because, of course, we have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people coming out of the military, and the semi-auto is all they know. It's very much like in World War II, they came out of the military, and the bolt action was what they knew, for the most part. Certainly out of World War I. And that's why the bolt action became the most popular sporting gun. Now the semi-automatic rifle has become the most popular sporting rifle, the AR-15 or the modern sporting rifle. Makes perfect sense. But don't lose sight of the fact that bolt actions are really, really good and simple and represent a great value and shoot like crazy and just are fun. I like bolt actions. You can also shoot a bolt action faster than you think if you use proper technique and learn how to work it. Really what you do is you just kind of work with it, unload it like anything else, work the motion, racking that slide back and forth all the time. And in the process of just working the bolt on your bolt action rifle, it will get slicker and smoother. 100 times helps, 1,000 times is really going to slick it up. And you're really just dry fire, click, work the bolt, dry fire, click, and do it aiming at something. So you're not just making the gun slicker, you're making the shooter better so that you're holding the crosshairs on something when it goes click. You keep it on, you follow through so that the crosshairs are on the target, whether it be a doorknob or whatever it is you're dry firing at. After the shot goes click, then with the gun still at your shoulder, and let me emphasize, don't take the rifle stock off your shoulder when you're working the bolt of your bolt action rifle. Still on your shoulder, you work the bolt, it goes forward, goes down, and then you're back on target and you press the trigger and you get another shot off. You can get to be so fast, people won't believe that you made shots with a bolt action rifle. I mean, I've heard people shooting and other people have said, man, it sounded like a semi-auto. I said, yeah, I know. When you know what you're doing, it's amazing what you can accomplish. Line 3, Lyle is with us out of Phoenix. Lyle says he knows when we're going to have ammo back in the stores. Lyle, when's that going to be?
It's very simple. January of 2017, providing we change political parties. That's when it's going to happen.
As long as Obama is in the White House, Generalissimo Obama, we're going to get him some of those epaulets and the big shoulder pads with the fringe and tassels on them so he looks like a South American dictator because that's the way he acts. So you're thinking as soon as he's gone, assuming there's a Republican in the White House, then the pressure will drop?
That's right. That's when it all started. It was 6 years ago when he got elected. We started having, everybody started stocking. And as soon as he's out, we know it's all going to be safe. It'll all come back.
Well, I don't disagree with you. I think you're probably right. We do have an interim step here. Rather than looking to the 2016 election, we need to be looking at the 2014 election, the election this year. And thank you for the call, Lyle. Everybody needs to be thinking about that right now because your Congress people, your senators are coming back. They're running for re-election. And we need to hold their feet to the fire. We need to find the ones who will vote the way they're supposed to vote, that is, to protect the Constitution. We simply have to do this. It is incumbent upon us to know what's going on, to stay informed, and then to take action upon it, which is making sure we're registered to vote and then getting out the vote and telling everybody we know, because if we can change the makeup of the Senate, I think Republicans will hold the House. I don't think that's going to be a problem. If the Republicans can gain control of the Senate, that changes things tremendously. Now, we'll probably have more executive actions, executive orders, but we simply would be better if we can make this happen, okay? I mean, that's just what it is. Let's go to line 4. Homer's in Farmington, New Mexico. Hello, Homer.
Hello, Tom.
Yes, sir. How can we help you?
Oh, I've got a little back problem. I tried a Navy Gear right-hand inside waistband holster for my CW45, and I found out I couldn't handle it after a day's use. So I'm looking for a cross draw inside the waistband holster. You know, I've looked over the internet and I can't find anything there.
A cross draw holster for the car CW45.
Correct.
You know what you might... Did you talk to the guys at Alien Gear after you figured out that holster wasn't going to work for you?
Well, I sent them an email, but they haven't answered back yet.
Okay. Talk to them and ask them if they can modify that holster and set it up for cross draw for you. I bet they can.
That's a possibility.
All they really are going to have to do is change the cant of the gun. They'll take that Kydex shell off the leather and rotate it so that instead of canting slightly forward like you'd want it when it's on the right side on your belt, it actually would cant somewhat backward because you're going to wear it on the left side. And I bet you if you talk to them, they'll say, yeah, ship that thing back. We'll pop that thing off. We'll put it back on. We'll give you that reverse cant and try that one. My guess is they're going to take care of you.
Yeah, I've got an email to them and also another company, too, to see if they could come up with one.
Because that's really what you're looking at. You could go inside the waistband over on that other side, but you can't have the grip angled away from you. It needs to angle back towards your belt a bit with the muzzle pointing a little bit away from you. But that way, when you reach over with your right hand and draw it, it's going to come in your hand. Now, one thing for you to be aware of, I'm sure you are, but it's worth mentioning for everybody. When you have a cross-draw holster, when you pull the gun out, you have to be very careful to keep the muzzle pointed down and not just whip it up and around so it swings in an arc, because if it does that, the muzzle now has pointed at a fairly large area, and there could be innocent people there. It's one of the reasons I like the strong side draw, where it just comes out of the holster, rotates up, and the muzzle is always pointed at the ground. So you just would need to work on this and do it over and over again very slowly with an unloaded gun. By the way, when you take your gun off in the evening, you've been wearing your concealed carry, that's a free practice draw. Get yourself set up at a place that's safe and practice your draw. Not fast, but smooth. Draw that gun out, come to a ready position, fingers straight, not in the trigger guard. Hey, it's a free practice draw.
One of Talker Magazine's 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. You're listening to Gun Talk, heard every week at this time on great radio stations across America. Stay tuned. Gun Talk is coming right back. Covering all aspects of gun ownership every week on this fine radio station. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, back with the 866 Talk Gun. In just a second here, we're talking with John about home protection, and Rob wants to talk about a BAR. But first up, we're going to have our guest is Michele Makucevich is with Swab-its. We're talking gun cleaning stuff here. Hey, Michele, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, I am good. How is things going at Swab-its? So that's one of the most interesting companies, products. It's kind of like you look at it and you scratch your head and you go, really? I mean, it looks like a high-tech Q-tip, but it's a whole lot more than that.
Well, it is, and we have so many different facets to our company. I think most people that are involved with us from the gun cleaning line, they think that we're some kind of upstart because we've been around for 2 years, but the company itself has been around for 65 years and has been a leader in the foam swab technology all of that time in cosmetics, in industrial, in medical. So, if you're a guy over 50, you might have met one of our swabs in the past.
So what you're saying is if I don't need to clean my gun, I could put on my makeup with this stuff, too.
I've had a couple desperate moments. You could use this for a lot of things. No, I actually use some of our gun tips, which we use for cleaning the rest of the firearm, not just the bore. And I use that on cleaning some of my classic cars. I've got a 57 T-Bird and a 67 Barracuda, and you've got these on hand, and you look at it and go, I could clean most anything with these.
Now, that's pretty slick, because, when you get into doing classic cars, you're talking about doing real fine work. I got to admit, I spent all day doing, washing, clay bar, swirl removal, sealant, and then Colonite 845 polish on a car last weekend. So, if you had these kind of things, you could get the little bitty places where the judges are looking, right?
Well, I don't take either of mine for judging, but I do go to different shows and all, and especially in the interior when you're trying to get things around the dash and all the little nooks and crannies there.
Okay, well, for those who can't see what we're talking about, when you're trying to describe it to somebody who hasn't seen it, describe what Swab-its is.
Okay. Well, Swab-its are durable and reusable foam cleaning swabs. They come in the gun line in two different types. The bore tips clean the barrel, and they are caliber specific. We have them available in 6 rifle and pistol sizes, as well as 3 sizes for shotgun. They act as pretty much just a convenient replacement for the traditional jag and patch or cotton mop. They're tight-fitting. They give you 360 degrees of a cleaning surface, and this allows them to deliver improved barrel cleaning and lubrication. So whether you're shooting a smooth bore or a polygonal barrel or, conventional rifling, all of our bore tips will do the gun tips is the other side, and that is a replacement for cotton swabs. So if you picture kind of a Q-tip on steroids, that would be our gun tip. They come in a variety of head sizes, so they're more versatile than a cotton swab. And they come in different sizes for so far as the length goes as well. And you can get into all the little nooks and crannies on your firearm, extractor ports, trigger mechanisms, whatever. They don't leave any lint behind, and they don't snap off, so they're on these sturdy plastic sticks. So those are the two sides of our cleaning mechanisms for firearms.
One of the things, by the way, for those who haven't figured it out, we just did daylight saving time. It is a great time to, change out your smoke alarm, your CO2 detector batteries, and also, if you haven't done it, you might want to clean your gun like twice a year at the very minimum. So, especially, Michele, those of us who carry guns, carrying a gun, even though you're not shooting it, is actually real hard on a gun because you're picking up lint and grime and gunk and sweat and all kinds of stuff. You need to clean this gun even though you're not shooting it, don't you?
Well, absolutely. I mean, if it functions okay when it's dirty, it's going to function better when it's clean. But if you're carrying a gun, I think it's even more important because you're counting on it then for personal protection. I use my guns for competition, and I want to put all the shots in the middle, but my life isn't at stake if it doesn't go there. So I would be even more wary of keeping my gun clean if it was a carry firearm.
Okay, I got a question for you. It's off the reservation here because I didn't know about your classic car addiction here because it's nothing less than an addiction, right?
Well, everything should be an addiction because if you're going to be passionate about stuff, you got to go all the way. So, yeah.
All right, I have found, and I'm just wondering what you have found because you obviously hang around with other car geeks because we're gun geeks too. There seems to be a fairly high crossover of folks who are really into cars also are into guns. Have you seen that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think that's probably one of the reasons I like both crowds. I would say that there's crossovers of a lot of things. They tend to be pretty much conservative and red-blooded Americans, and there are a lot of things there that dovetail well with my background.
There you go. I like it. All right, so Swab-its, these are products for cleaning your guns, and basically what they do is, from my standpoint, here's how I see it, and I'd like to get your take on it. They do two prime things. One is they clean your gun better, but number two, and possibly even more important, they make it easier to clean your gun. Is that fair?
I think that's very fair because, if it's easier, you're going to do it more often. So you're going to take better care of your firearm. But I wouldn't just focus on the cleaning mechanism. I mean, obviously, that's what we put out there. But from a lubrication standpoint, I think that's equally important. So if you're only cleaning your guns twice a year, then you're going to be putting them away for a good long time. And, I live in an environment where there's a lot of humidity, so I need to run something through there. If you look after you've used a patch and you were to look with a bore scope, you'd see that you're covering about 70% of your barrel. If you look after our 360 degrees of contact have gone through with a bore tip, you're covering 100%, which, given a choice, I think that's where you should go.
That would be better. Exactly right. So, all right, for information, and they can buy Swab-its directly from you?
They can, but, I think we'd kind of prefer you support some of our 300 independent retailers that we have. If you go to our website and look at where can you buy it near you, you could check that out. So it would be www.boretips.com, and you could see where, hopefully in your state where it would be. The other thing is we're a very responsive company. It was cool because after I talked to you last time in October, I got 3 phone calls the next week from some of your listeners, and we had some great chats. If somebody wanted to reach out and say, why don't you have this caliber? We listen, and we work on it. We have some things in development right now. If somebody reaches out and they say, gosh, I wish that our local store such and such would carry it, I'll call them. I'll go visit them. I'll do demos there. So let me know. Help me make us get out there. So.
There you go. I love the passion. Guns and the cars and no telling what else. Michele, listen, thank you so much. Swab-its, boretips.com. Also, Swab-its, SWABITS.com will get you there. Thank you, and carry on. All right, 866-TALK-GUN, 866-TALK-GUN. What gun do you want to talk about?
It's great to make something with your own hands. When you reload, the whole family can get involved, including breaking more targets and bagging more birds. Mech reloaders have been the center of family activities for generations. Plus, you can save money and stock up, even when there's nothing in the stores. 10, 12, 16, 20, 28, and 410. Any gauge. Get started reloading. Visit mechreloaders.com. That's MECreloaders.com.
The world can be a dangerous place. Gear up with the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. Equipping your firearm with laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com and receive a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge. Crimson Trace.
One machine, one operator. Each machine is run by a single pair of hands. Hands that spend all day, every day, learning the machine inside and out. We don't believe in quotas. The point is crafting faultless ammunition, no matter how long that takes. It's not quick or easy. Being the best never is. Black Hills Ammunition. It started with our hands.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
You know the name Walther is a legendary brand, but do you know the new Walther? The new Walther has introduced 3 new precision handguns. The smooth PPQ M2 is a breakthrough in ergonomics and trigger pull. The tough PPX is a workhorse at a value price. The cool, iconic PPK S22 blends classic PPK with the fun of the economical 22 LR. There is a lot going on at the new Walther. Visit us at waltherarms.com. Walther, at your favorite retailer.
Thanks for being one of the 100 million gun owners in America who support Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Even if you don't want to be on the air, you can still email Tom with your questions or concerns at tom@guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk.
All right, back with you here, Tom Gresham, 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial 1-TOM-TALK-GUN over on Twitter. I'm at Gun Talk, where we are. Actually, we got some questions popping up over there. I asked for, if you have any questions, let's see, you said to rotate your pistol. People are ignorant on the terms and more on proper handling. I have no idea what that means. Chris, fill me in. You said rotate your pistol. I don't know what that means. So let's see. Dave says, I've noticed more media coverage, slightly more, of defensive gun use in the Detroit area. I guess they can't always ignore it. And also we have a question, Glock 42, anybody making a threaded barrel for it yet so you can put a suppressor on it? I don't know. It's brand new. I don't know if anybody has threaded barrels for the Glock 42 yet. That would be interesting. It's a 380, kind of small gun, putting a suppressor on it. Yeah, I mean, why not? That'll work. Let's see. Line 2, John's with us, driving through Kansas. Hello, John. You looking for a gun for home protection?
That's correct. I was looking at the Taurus, the Judge, and wanted to know what you thought about it. That's a 410/45 long Colt pistol.
Right. I am familiar with the revolver. The Judge is an interesting gun. It has enjoyed phenomenal success, sales success. Here's my question and the conundrum I have with the Judge is it forces you to make a choice of what kind of ammo you're going to put in it. If you stoke it with 45 Colt, which is what I would do, frankly, now you know what you have. You're shooting projectiles. You're shooting a bullet with each pull of the trigger, and you know what the bullet will do, penetration. If you're shooting shot shells, you end up with a compromised position. You basically are going to a short-range rig. That may be fine. Understand, I'm not saying this is wrong. I'm just saying if you go with a shot shell of any particular type, birdshot, buckshot, Winchester has look like watch batteries or something inside there. Those all work up close, and they don't work at any distance at all. Again, that may be fine for your particular situation. It's kind of like the whole birdshot in a shotgun. If you're in a position where you're going to be shooting close and you're concerned about pass-through, house, walls, that type of deal. So I guess my question would be, are you okay with the decision-making it forces you to do of whether to use shotgun shell or a Colt, cartridge? How would you load it up? What would you do with it, John?
Well, I've given that a lot of thought, and first off, the distance I'm looking at shooting, since it's a home protection, is a maximum of 25 feet. That's the longest distance of clear shot anywhere in my home. Okay, good information. Okay, so I thought if I started out with a double-aught buck and alternated from the double-aught buck to a 45 long Colt, in that manner, the first shot's going to give you a better pattern, a better coverage, and hopefully deter or stop anything that's coming from that point.
Okay, and I've heard people talk about alternating rounds because you have 5 shots in that revolver. So you have to figure out how you're going to do that, which one you're going to do. I don't know what the right answer is. I got to tell you, I've thought about it. I think for me, if I were going to use that as my defensive gun, I would probably just load it up with 45 Colt with good expanding bullets and go that way. I guess let me ask everybody else. And look, thank you for your call, sir. For a judge, a Taurus Judge, or the Smith & Wesson Governor, which is similar. It's a revolver that shoots 410 shotgun shells and 45 Colt, long Colt, if you will, cartridges. How would you stoke it? What kind of ammo? Would you go all shotgun? Would you go all 45 Colt? Would you alternate them? And if you did, how in the world would you figure out where are you going to start? You're going to start with shotgun and go back and forth. You're going to go shotgun, and then Colt. I don't know. It's I'm wondering if we sometimes work too hard on trying to figure this stuff out. I just don't know. It's a fun gun. I've shot them a bunch, and they're good. We even have shot quail with them with bird shot. So a lot of things you can do.
Gun Talk stands for safety, personal responsibility, and common courtesy. To be a part of the show, call 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Gun Talk will be right back.
All right, back with the 866 Talk Gun. Rob is on hold. He's been here for a little while. Out of Wichita on line 3. Hey, Rob, thank you for your patience. Did you say your uncle carried a BAR?
Yes, sir. My dad was on a tank killer, and my uncle was an infantryman. They're both under patent. My uncle carried a Browning automatic rifle, and I was wondering. For the life of me, I have no idea what that was and how it was integrated into squad assault tactics.
Okay, well, the Browning automatic rifle was the model 1918. It shot the 30-06 Springfield cartridge. It was select fire, so it could be used single or semi-auto or full auto. It had box magazine, so a detachable box magazine. I think it's 20-round magazine, 30-06. It was a heavy son of a gun. As I remember, it was about 16 pounds without the ammo. You throw the ammo in there, you're probably looking at close to 18 pounds for the whole deal. So
6 feet, 4 inches tall, weigh 240 pounds.
I was just going to say, they usually pick the biggest guy in the squad to carry the BAR. Exactly right. So did you have any stories about it, or did you have,
No, he won't talk about the war. I just know that's what he carried.
Yeah, it was a great rifle.
Was the people who went into Auschwitz, Dachau, and all that. He wouldn't talk about it.
Yep, I understand. Well, anyway, that's the deal with the BAR, Rob. I appreciate the call. Let's see. Hold on here a second, guys. We're going to go line 4. Norm is with us in Homer, Alaska. Hey, Norm. Oh, we dropped. Shoot. Sorry. I love the Homer spit, by the way. Let's pick up line 3. Rob's with us. I just did that. Okay, I'm all off now, guys. Now, line 1. Bob is in Grafton, North Dakota. Hey, Bob.
Hi, Tom. Love your show. Listen, I just wanted to make a comment real quick about that judge for home defense. I've fired one before at a distance about, maybe 10 to 15 feet from the target. You want to be real careful with using those shot rounds that have the discs in them or the ball bearings in them, whatever. There's like 2 or 3 of them in some of them. Because it spreads out so rapidly that a few times, if it was just a man standing there, a single target, both of those heavy-duty hits missed the target completely. They went too far to the left and to the right.
Oh.
My recommendation, I'm a veteran, and I'll tell you, I have family and 3 kids and a lovely wife, and my recommendation for a home defense is a pump shotgun or a 40 caliber or a 45 caliber semi-automatic pistol. Sometimes with that pump shotgun there, sometimes you don't even have to fire a round. Just the racking of a round into the chamber is enough to kind of scare the bejeebers out of somebody, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, but I don't buy into that. I don't think anybody ever got scared off with the racking of a shotgun. If they're in your house, they're probably stoned out on drugs or something else. Besides, you know what? If you rack the gun, it means you either just threw a live round on the floor or you were carrying it with an empty chamber. Either way, there are better ways to go. Look, I appreciate it. Adam, I got 1 minute for you. Line 2 in Illinois. Adam, say it fast.
Hey, Tom, so just this last Friday, I received my Illinois concealed carry license. First time carrying, I'm carrying an XDS and 9mm 3.3. Just thought I'd get what general advice you can give me for a first-time concealed carry person.
Okay, I can do that. I want you to do, there are 3 things we have going for you. 1, you need to get our DVDs. Go to shopguntalk.com. We have 2 DVDs out. One is called Concealed Carry, and one is Fighting with the 1911. Forget the fact that it says 1911. It's a great DVD on concealed carry. Then you need to go to YouTube and look for Gun Talk Media and search for there. You'll find our series, which is called First Person Defender. Once you start watching it, you will want to watch the whole thing. Make your wife and your loved ones sit down and watch it also. It's called First Person Defender on YouTube. and it will teach you more than you ever thought you needed to know or could know about concealed carry. Congratulations for taking care of yourself. We'll be right back.
Firearms, ammunition, recreational and competitive shooting, training, hunting, and yes, even politics. You're listening to Gun Talk. Call us now at 1-866-825-5486. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Or reach out to us via email at tom@guntalk.com.